The Resistance would be in their base, planning their next move, waiting for the call from Shadow, who would give them more information about what's really going on within Eggman's global empire. As they begin speculating different ideas on what it could possibly be, Shadow appears on the video screen. He explains how that Eggman has set up 4 of the Chaos Emerald's Gaia temples and converted them into, well, shield generators to create a shield over EggmanLand 2.0. But also that Eggman has retreated and is hiding out in EggmanLand 2.0, and that it might be their only chance at capturing Eggman. Also, his other Egg Generals are guarding somewhere else, so this would be the perfect time to capture Eggman. And of course, take down EggmanLand 2.0, the capital of Eggman's empire. The group are all surprised at this, and they like the idea of this plan. Although Amy does admit that it is risky going in, as Eggman could have many different traps and this could lead all into something disastrous happening. But Knuckles gives a speech and that he knows that they can do it together. They've got to take down those Gaia temples and they'll have the Chaos Emeralds, which will be amazing. Silver agrees with that, as with the Emeralds, that will give them an advantage against Eggman. However, Shadow tells them to be very careful, and that to not underestimate anything that comes over. But then he mentions that he has to go now, as the Eggman Empire and the other Egg Generals will get suspicious of him, and his actions. So he leaves, and the video call comes to an end. Knuckles decides on a plan. He has an idea that they would split up into 4 teams. Each team would go after, well, one of the generators. Team 1 would be Sonic and the Rookie. Team 2 be Omega and Tails. Team 3 Team Chaotix. And Team 3 being Rouge, Knuckles and Amy. Knuckles gives a very kind of good speech and tells them to never give up and good luck. This is the fight of their lives. However, Silver chimes in saying he's not joining the teams, as he's going to be a distraction because Infinite is out there, causing more chaos and could simply undo all of their effects with the Phantom Ruby, despite the fact that Eggman has other generators keeping it up and running. But he tells them that he will try to take out the generators, weakening the Phantom Ruby. Meanwhile, Sonic and the Rookie jump out of the resistant ship, and they approach the Gaia Temple. And here we would get a cool level inside the temple with some fun references from, of course, Sonic Unleashed, and we would see a lot of cool ideas. There will be loads of egg fighters from Unleashed. The egg pawns would be here. Multiple other badniks. It would be this really cool kind of almost all the badniks in a way, as they're all kind of crossing over. And the level would end with Sonic and the Rookie grabbing a Chaos Emerald, doing a cool pose. Then we have Tails and Omega, and this level would be quite cool actually. It would be mostly aerial based, instead of the speed running bit for Sonic and the Rookie, where they not only have to avoid certain platforms falling down, but also gravity features as well. And Tails would comment on how wonderful the temple looks, that hopefully once they manage to save the world, they can work on rebuilding these back to their original homes and their original looks. And as the two of them fight their way through, they then notice the temple that the Gaia that the Chaos Emerald is standing on. Omega grabs the emerald and gives it to Tails. 2 emeralds, 2 more to go. Meanwhile, Team Chaotix bust straight on in and declare that they're going to take the emerald. And here we would kind of see a cool cutscene of how they work, jumping around. Espio would be throwing ninja stars, Vector would be running, and they would grab onto Charmy to fly for extra support. It'd just be really cool. And the cutscene would end with Vector grabbing the emerald and saying, "You know our policy, we never turn down work that pays," before tossing it up in the air and Espio catches it, with Charmy jumping on top of Vector's head, annoying him. And they report back to, the Resistance H will report back to the other teams, saying that they have the emerald. However, they get surrounded by other badniks, but they declare that they'll give them one great fight. Meanwhile, with the other team being Rouge, Knuckles and Amy, they would of course be, gliding, fighting, and of course platforming through the different areas. They would of course get all sorts of other badniks, unique ones I would say, ones that kind of turn light to day, and I thought night to light, and I think that'll be a really cool, fun idea. We would also see many different, I don't know, like more kind of references to Unleash, like more temple parts, more really fun moments, and it would end, Knuckles comes gliding and punching, and he grabs the emerald, and after obtaining all the emeralds, the shield generator comes down, and they all begin to celebrate. And Silver outside would congratulate them, telling them that they not only did it, but the shield is down. EggmanLand 2.0 is exposed. Now is the time to strike. It is time to tear down EggmanLand. And Silver, he gets the attention of none other than Infinite, as Infinite Seekers come out to the Phantom Seekers and they begin destroying the temple to hopefully catch the resistance. And there would be alarms going off in all temples as Eggman installed security systems all over the place. And Silver comes straight on in, using his telekinesis to hold up the walls and all of the defenses, throwing them at Infinite, who, by the way, also has telekinesis, but it's kind of a darkened kind of red purplish kind of telekinesis, which I think would be a really cool idea. Infinite comes on in, fighting off the remaining other Resistance members. However, Silver goes straight for him, fighting him off, but Infinite scratches Silver across the face and whacks him with his tail. He then begins to fight off Silver even more, kicking him and throwing him into null space, with Infinite going after. And the battle would continue through there. And Silver would of course use many different techniques, but Infinite's world seems to be a lot more bigger and powerful, as he tries to crush Silver before he manages to escape. With the Resistance all together at last, they decide to tackle the EggmanLand 2.0. And Knuckles tells everyone to be careful, and most of all, to stay together. As the group approach Eggmanland, they hear the sinister laughter of Dr. Eggman all over the place. Charmy comments on how many security cameras are really everywhere in this place, and Sonic mentions that Eggman must have really tightened security. And for Eggman Land, it would kind of be similar to Sonic Unleash's version of Eggman Land, as I wanted to kind of give it a much more difficult vibe to kind of show that Eggman's not messing around this time. He's taken over the world, he's making it even more difficult. And it would be similar to the original with a couple of changes. For one, the sky would be changed to more of a kind of dark kind of sky because it would be at night. And we would see a lot more cool features. One of them being massive badniks. These massive, like, rushing badniks and huge hammers slamming everywhere. And ships flying from every corner of Eggman Land. Badniks everywhere, guarding at all costs. And then building up more and more stuff. As Sonic and his friends, they begin to comment on this, that this is like some kind of city that just is evolving. It's not shutting down, it's spreading across to the whole planet. Just then, the group continue to fight off the badniks, which are coming in more and more. Eggman's got a ton of them, and they're everywhere. And we would see Sonic racing across Eggman Land to fight off more of them and save his friends at many different moments, as it would cut back to Omega and Tails just demolishing everything in sight. And we would see, of course, all of Sonic's friends playing their part, doing everything they can to help Sonic out, to help him defeat Dr. Eggman and save the world, take it back. After when all the badniks are defeated, Sonic would enter into one of Eggman's main areas, a kind of little elevator that takes him upwards. As he enters into, well, this hidden area, there are more traps that get activated, with Sonic stating that Eggman must have really thought this place through when he took over the world. As you can also hear PVA announcements of Eggman stating that in Eggman's Empire, everyone is a nobody except me, with egotistical announcements and a fake kind of narration saying that Eggman is a genius and this is his legacy. With Sonic giving a simple legacy, huh? Well, I'll never understand Eggman's tastes. And Sonic would of course be on this little skate thing as he would traverse through many of the different parts of Eggman Land, even bouncing on top of a Ferris wheel and on a roller coaster, which is pretty cool. And as we almost cut to the final bit of the massive level with Eggman Land, there would be so you can then see a massive statue of Dr. Eggman as Sonic lands, and that's where the stage would end. Sonic and the Rookie look all around in this cutscene, and they would notice a computer bit, and as they are just about to see if they can get any more intel on Eggman's final product, Eggman comes busting through the door with his massive Eggmobile coming in. Sonic is caught off guard and the Rookie falls back with his Wispon. Eggman is laughing maniacally, cackling. He states that Sonic is persistent and that he thought locking him up would just be the thrill of it. Then, with him out the way, no one could essentially stand up against him in his conquest. And that Sonic is too late to foil his plan now. Sonic tells Eggman that it's over, that the resistance is here, and that we go stronger every day. But Eggman counters this, saying that so does he, and his army and allies. But Sonic states that not only not only that, everything will come falling down, and that you will lose. Eggman laughs this off because, well, Eggman has so much ego, and he would look towards the rookie and state, "So, you're the little punk who's been messing with my stuff, the one that everyone's been talking about. Well then, Sonic, and the whatever your name is, allow me to introduce to you my newest, most dangerous creation, and latest to be precise, in the testing process. I was going to save him for the big battle, but I think now would be a perfect time to test him. I call him the Egg Medusa. The Eggdusa." And we would see that this thing, yeah, I know that it's obviously from the final battle of Sonic Forces, but I like to think that this thing would have its own name, and it would kind of be a reference to Medusa from Greek mythology. I think that would be a cool idea. Sonic is ultimately surprised with this mech. "Whoa, Eggman. Looks like you made a weird octopus crab thing. Huh, looks pretty weird." However, Eggman shrugs this off. "Weird, huh? Well, you haven't even seen its abilities. It's powered by the Phantom Ruby. Thanks to Infinite's null space, I managed to pick it all together and build it. Eggdusa, crush these fools!" And the battle would begin. As the Eggdusa changes its hands using the Phantom Ruby, it crushes the ground in front of Sonic and the Rookie, and it begins to chase them throughout EggmanLand. And this is where our boss fight would begin. Now, this boss fight would be pretty interesting, as it would not only be Sonic and the Rookie running from this massive thing in EggmanLand 2.0, but Eggman's inside the mech. And this thing is pretty deadly, as not only it would have lasers, its arms would perhaps change using the Phantom Ruby, and it would launch out Phantom Ruby beams, missiles, and I would imagine it just changing everything. It can pick up stages, it can fly, and Eggman would declare that not only is he one of the most powerful, but it's also one of his most revolutionary mechs. While still not as powerful as the Egg Dragoon, it still is capable with the Phantom Ruby energy. And the tentacles would come slamming down, destroying all, summoning more. The way that you would attack this is when the tentacles come crashing down, they would get stuck, and you would jump on the arms and run up them and then homing attack the eyes. And of course, there would be 3 different heads. You would have to get rid of the first 2 and then immediately go for the final head, while still at the same time dealing with the other tentacles and the missile bit at the back. It's almost like a little bit like a crab, almost in a way, or like a spider. I think maybe the egg spider, but I'm thinking more the Eggdusa, because it's kind of short for Medusa, because of all of the kind of snaky kind of parts coming out. It kind of looks like hair in a way. But yeah, I think this is a cool idea. But yeah, you would basically be running on a trail through Eggman's city, through EggmanLand 2.0, as he would destroy the ground constantly, ripping up parts and just morphing the entire levels all around. He would even bring you into null space, which Sonic states that that's impossible. Infinite has that power. But Eggman claims that this device allows him to open the portal to null space anywhere, and it even allows him full control over everything. It even allows him to open portals to null space, as I've said before, but also it allows him to go in and leave null space. Eggman then claims that this mech is his only ticket of getting in and getting out, most importantly. But Eggman's mech does, however, end up falling apart. As Sonic and the Rookie activates the final hit, the mech begins to break down. The tentacle arms begin falling off, and Eggman's mech crash lands into a massive statue of him, crushing the mech completely. But Eggman injected himself out right before. And Sonic would celebrate this, but Eggman's still in his Eggmobile. He declares to Sonic that was impossible what he did. How? He developed this weapon constantly since null space was invented. How on earth was he able to do this? Sonic says with the power of teamwork, something that you never understand. But Eggman declares that this isn't over before leaving Eggman Land, as all of Eggman's other forces begin to retreat. Silver then tells Sonic and the gang, it's over. Eggman's leaving. Eggman Land 2.0 is demolished. It's done. And the group all celebrates as they now have control of Eggman Land 2.0, meaning Eggman won't return to there. However, outside, Infinite overwatches Eggman flying away to Imperial Tower. He then hears Eggman mention to Infinite on radio that things are going horribly wrong, and to meet him at Imperial Tower. The Project Oblivion finally begins. And Infinite says, "Yes, my lord, I will arrive there very soon," as the call ends. Infinite then says that it's typical, isn't it? He retreats without properly giving a proper fight. And next to Infinite is Zavok, who then comments that Infinite is correct, and that Eggman never is a coward, running before fighting. And that not only that, but he will get what he deserves, and he will make him pay for everything. As Zavok walks off, he mentions that they should return if they're hoping to keep up this act. And Infinite teleports back, with Zavok giving a simple glare before jumping off, heading to Imperial Tower. Infinite would be flying away, looking over at the Resistance. How pathetic they are. He could wipe them out with one swoop, but Eggman tells them no. And this is what fuels Infinite's hatred of Eggman. Now, he's being held like a puppet to do Eggman's bidding. And essentially, he's being blamed for the failures that Eggman's made. And so Infinite decides that he wants to remake the world in his image. And he gets a vision in his head. A perfect world built of nothing. Built in null space. His capital. His empire. Everything he has ever made. And at the center of it all, the one in control. The one true Infinite.